Hello, hello, my friends. Oh, got my phone going off. All right. Hello, hello. I am on early. I had a little confusion with time zones. So I am jumping on early, my friends. So hopefully you guys will see this. All right. Hello, hello, hello. I am early. Sorry. I'm teaching a class tonight and we got confused on time zones because time zones are hard. They're so confusing to me. I finally get them and then we change time again. Drives me bonkers. I wish they would just keep it as it is during the summer, personally. My opinion. So I have a little bit of time for you this evening, my friends. We are in Fargo, and so we are getting a ton of snow. It was a little disappointing throughout the day. I was like, come on, where's this storm? Because I like a good snowstorm. And we only got an inch, and a lot of it was that slushy crap, which I do not care for because it turns into ice. So you might even hear the plow in the background because Eli's going to be out plowing the slush to get it out of our driveway because it's going to be all icy later. So if you are in the Midwest, be mindful. He said roads. He actually drives out to wherever he works, 40 miles away. Can't remember where he works. Crystal Sugar. Can't remember where he works. The name of the town. But he drove to work because sometimes they shut that road down and he can get back if he drives. And so he said roads are getting slick. So be very mindful of your driving and just stay home if you can. Okay. All right. All right. So we are on day 13. Since I'm a little bit rushed, I'm not going to do a prize today. I'll do that tomorrow for y'all. Since I got a little confused. Well, we were all a little confused on the time frame. All right. So tonight, I'm curious of those that are watching, how many of you have had an experience or are open to an experience with your guides and angels, with your spirit team, not your loved ones, not your relatives, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, those ones, but your guides and angels. Give it to me in the comments and let me know if that is something that you've had connection with, if it's something you want to learn. We have a little bit of a delay tonight, I know. Because I thought it would be fun to teach you a little skill tonight so then you can use it in the morning before you start your day tomorrow and actually have an experience with it and see if it's something that brings out some fun for you. There we go. Boy, comments are very behind tonight. So, to me, I really didn't understand guides and angels when I first started this. I did not believe in them. I always have believed in them. I always knew there was something out there. I always knew I was being protected. I always knew, I just knew that. I just knew. And as I got to be an adult and I started seeing things and hearing things, and I did see things just a couple times when I was a kid. I always tell people I'm a little bit more of a developed psychic medium because I came into my stuff a little bit later in life. And I took a lot of classes and did a lot of mentoring and that kind of stuff. And so for me, it came in later. So when people ask me like, do people just never connect with them? I'm like, no, you can learn to connect with them. What often happens is people will come into class and they want to see them right off the bat. And maybe they're more of a natural feeler than they are a natural seer. So some people see energy really, really easy. Some people feel energy really, really easy, or they might hear energy really, really easy. And you need to go with whichever attribute is your strongest. Maybe you just know things. And what happens is people kind of get into their natural attribute and they don't really like it because it's probably caused some havoc in their life and they shut it down. And so you need to learn how to embrace what you're naturally good at. Not always easy for human beings, right? So I'm a feeler, 1,000% I'm a feeler. I can also see, hear, see, I know, I can feel, but my very strongest attribute is I'm a feeler. And I didn't really like being in my feelings. And so I had to learn how to trust my feelings again. And the majority of people are feelers. And so I just had a woman today and she was like, I've never been able to connect with my spirit guides. And sometimes I feel stuff, but I don't see or hear them. And I'm like, oh, hold on a second. You just said that you felt them. That's a connection. Like you have to honor that first, and then you can grow it from there. Okay. And so one of the things that I teach people, it's really simple, quite honestly. I'm spitting all over you guys. It's really simple. And I would have you practice this a whole bunch of times. So there's a couple fun stories, but one of the things that I would tell people is when you wake up in the morning, just ask your guides and angels to show you that they're around and tell them to make it big and obnoxious so you can't miss it. And do that every single day for like 2 weeks or a month or something. Like give it some time. Okay. If you've never had the experience before, you don't know what you're watching for yet. Okay. And so I know a lot of people teach to ask for specific signs and things like that. And I've taught that before too. But what I found is when you keep it really open and really organic, different things come through much easier. So I have stories on both sides of being asking for specific signs and not asking for specific signs. What I find with a lot of my new people and even people that are super experienced that maybe need to come back to the basics a little bit is just saying, all right, you know what? Okay, guides and angels, I need you just to show me that you're with me, make it big and obnoxious so I can't miss it, and bring it in a whole bunch of times so I don't miss it. That's what I started doing when I was younger in this. And I still to this day will do that. If I'm not feeling as connected as I want to, or if I'm stressed out, or I just want to play, and because I love playing with spirit. And so if I'm playful, I'll be like, all right, show me that you're around today. And let's just see what shows up. And I love to do it on trips. I do it on trips and travel all the time because if I'm traveling, I'm usually in a good mood anyways. So I do think it's something to try and have fun with. So you can you can test them a little bit too. At least I did. And a couple ways that I tested when I was first just kind of experimenting with all of this, it was a day and a week just like this. And I was going to take my oldest son to the Blenders concert, which happens at Eli and I are going to the Blenders concert tomorrow night. So I love the timing of this. And the night that the concert came, it was a freaking blizzard, full out blizzard. And they did not cancel the show. And I asked Foster if he still wanted to go. And he was like 4. He was so little. And I knew he wouldn't make it through the whole concert, but I wanted to go do something with him. I think Eli was working evenings and a lot of nights at that time. And so I just wanted to take him. And so I was like, all right, guides and angels, if you people are real, or if you things, I think I said things, if you things are real, then I want front row parking. And I had heard about parking angels, but I didn't really do much with them. But I was like, there's a night for parking angel. Tonight's the night. And so I don't live far from downtown by any means. And so a little bit before the concert, we got him ready, got him in his boots and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, I really, really hope you're real because I really, really, really want good parking. And we drove up, and the Fargo Theater is on Broadway, which is parking up and down all the way, but it's always packed. And you can never find parking down there. And so we drove up, and I was like, just for fun, I'm going to go right by the theater just to check. Sure as shit, there is a front row right in front of the door, parking that I could sit and park my car. And we literally were 5 feet away from the door to get in. And I was like, holy shit, this works. And again, blizzard. stayed for maybe an hour of the show, and he wanted popcorn and stuff. So I was like, well, let me start the car, and then, we'll get you some popcorn while the car warms up, and got him in the car and took him home. It was like the easiest thing in the world. And I was like, oh my God, I think this really works. So then the next day I was all jazzed up from it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to play again. Like if you are around me, then I want green lights all the way down 13th Avenue. And down 13th Avenue, there's probably 20 lights. And I almost always get the red lights, which I know now, if I get a whole bunch of red lights in person, I know that that is just me needing to take a break, take a breath, slow down, just kind of center myself as I'm going on my merry way. Well, I went to go Christmas shopping the next day, and sure as shit, I had green lights all the way down 13th Avenue. And I was like, oh my God, this stuff is real. Like, it was so much fun. I had so much fun, and I always have fun with guides and spirits like that. So signs can come in a million different ways, you guys. I get a lot of license plates. A lot. And I get license plates not only from my guides and angels, but from loved ones. Like I had a friend's, her dad passed away, and I was talking about his funeral was coming up, and I was telling the kids, I'm going to have to leave early from the lake. I'm going to come back for this funeral. And this car drove right by us, and his wife's name was on the license plate. And I was like, holy shit, take a picture of that. And I've had it come through when Eli's mom passed away. We were on the way to the farm for hunting that year. And I was really sad because all of us women spend a lot of time together during hunting. And it was the first year she wasn't going to be there. And so I was a little emotional about it. And Keaton all of a sudden says, hey, Mom, guess what my computer says my character's name is? And I was like, I have no idea. And I wasn't thinking about him at all. And he goes, it's Priscilla. And I'm like, what? Like on his little handheld game, why would they come up with that name, right? And so there was lots of fun with all sorts of different things. So license plates, memes that you just happen to see on Facebook. I have a friend that she would wake up in the middle of the night and she would turn on the Hallmark Channel, and she would listen to the show for just a few minutes, and she'd get her message, and then she'd go back to sleep. My dad sends stuff to me in the cloud sometimes, like the day he passed. I don't know if it was the day he passed or maybe the week he passed. Must have been after his funeral. I was at the lake, and I kept seeing shapes that made sense that it was from my dad. Like I saw a dog, and my dad was a gunsmith. So I saw a gun in the clouds, like stuff that you just like don't normally see, right? And you can see music is a big way that they come through. Hearing something 3 or 4 times in a row. Like there's a million different ways that your guides and spirit can come through, but you just have to open up and see what you keep seeing over and over and over and over. So repeating numbers is a big thing for people. Birth date is a big thing for people. Waking up at the same time every night. There's lots of ways that spirit comes through. And for sure, Carla said, yep, there's a magic of parking angels, and it's fun playing with them. Absolutely. So I went on a trip with my sister-in-law and all the kids one time, and we were talking about something, and I said, oh, just call in the parking angels at the beginning of the trip. And she was like, what? I'm like, we have parking angels. Like, we need to call in all the parking angels. And we had great parking through that whole trip. By the end of the trip, she's like, can I have a parking angel? I'm like, yeah, everyone can have a parking angel. You just got to call one in. And so play, if nothing else, play with your parking angels. And wintertime's a great time to have parking angels, because I like to park up front in the winter. And so I encourage everyone to really have some fun with this one, and start by asking in the morning. Okay, because you want to have some kind of a practice that you do in the morning that helps you get into that connection. And we'll do a day on that too. But I wanted to at least start with opening up the connection for learning how to connect with them in different ways, and open up the different ways that they can connect with you. Because people tend to look for specifics, but just stay open and see what keeps getting repeated. Okay. I'm open, but not had that experience. That's okay. You can keep asking. Sometimes it takes some practice, because sometimes people will be like, okay, I want front row parking, And then, and not that I'm saying that you're doing this, Elaine, but then some people be like, oh, this is such crap. This isn't going to work. There's no way I'm going to get this. This stuff never works for me. I never get signs. I never get this. I never get that. But okay, come on, show me. Like, you have to have some alignment with it, with your mindset and with your vibration and being playful and expecting it. Like, it's a great practice to learn how to receive. If you're not very good at receiving, that is something that you are probably learning through getting your signs and symbols from your angels. Okay. I think it's really a great practice. Like, I think that's probably the thing that helped me the most to learn how to receive, is starting to ask for signs and ask for connection and ask for to show that they're around me, because I really sucked at receiving. And I definitely was one of those people that'd be like, okay, parking angels. And then I'd be like, well, that never works for me. La, la, la. And then I'd have this shitty mindset about it. And so you need to kind of work through some of that stuff. And then the more you do it and the more you practice and the more you play, like, you can't try it once and then it doesn't work. You need to try it over and over and over and over, because sometimes it takes a really long time. I did not see or hear things for a really long time. People would do meditations and see all the circus and all these colors and all this stuff. And I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't know. I just sat quiet. Like, I didn't get anything. For a long time, that was me. And over time, things just started to open up when I stopped resisting it so much. And when I cleaned up my mindset, for sure. Janet says she's seeing 808 all month. That's great abundance number. 8s are all about abundance. Love that. Love, love, love. All right. Yeah, try it a few times. Like, try it this whole week, you guys, and see what opens up for you. And play with it a little bit, and then share it over on Mighty Networks or here. I don't care where you share it, but share a little bit so we can inspire others to keep practicing. I do that all the time. Also, when I find pennies from heaven, I look at the date to see who it might be connected to. That's a great idea. I just know that they're around me receiving those little messages. I always ask them for raises. If I see pennies all the time, I'm like, how about quarters? Let's give me a heavenly raise. Give me quarters. Once I was with a friend and she said, we'll never get a close spot. Just drive back a few rows. I said, yes, we will. And we parked in the front row. And she said, your angels are listening. Oh, your angels listen stronger than mine. See, that's the attitude though. Yeah. Yep. Beautiful. Yeah. My son came over last night. He was laughing because he went skiing the other day, and he's quite intuitive, but he does it just with his general day stuff. It's not something that I think he thinks about all that much. And he was telling a fun story. He's like, mom, I got a good story for you. And he went skiing, and the front row skiing isn't like, there's not that many spots. And they were going in, and he's like, nope, there's going to be front row. I know there is. And it's not going to be over there. It's going to be over here. And he goes, and I drove in and I just stepped right there. And it was a really busy day at the ski thing. So it was really funny. And when he was a kid, we went skiing one time, and he was going to go for another run. And he came up and he said, yeah, this is going to be my last run. And I said, oh, well, how do you know that? He goes, oh, they're going to close the place. I heard it from my special people. And I was like, okay. And sure enough, the next run was his last run, because they closed it because of the weather. And I said, that's your guides and angels. And he's like, whatever, they just told me. And I was like, you should listen to them. It was really cool. You said you had to change your mindset. How is that exactly? So, like, I would put out there, like, okay, I want good parking, right? Okay, angels, I want good parking, front row parking. But then I'd have a shitty attitude about it. Like, oh, I'm sure they're not listening. I'm sure I'm not going to get good parking. It's storming out. I'm not going to get, like, I almost would cancel it out with my attitude, because I had such a disbelief that I either wasn't going to receive it, I shouldn't receive it, I didn't deserve it, whatever it might be. And so when I'm asking something from my guides and angels, I need to line my attitude up with it and expect it and get better at that, because then my alignment is there for me to receive it. But that's usually where the rub is we're not always in alignment to be able to receive it. Does that make sense? Yeah, we talk about parking angels a lot in my community too. Like, it's a fun game for all of us. I think it's fun. I think it's a great way to ask. You can ask for specifics, Yep. Anticipate it. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. I don't get too connected to if I don't get it. So I think this is a trick too, because some people, I hear them do this. They'll be like, oh, I ask for front row parking all the time and I never get it. And I'm like, okay, well, what's your attitude like? Well, I never get it. I never get it. I'm like, well, okay, that attitude right there is not going to help you. You're not even open to receiving it because you've already made the decision and you keep affirming, I never get it. I ask and I never get it. I ask and I never get it. And that's kind of a deeper mindset kind of thing, because you probably say that in many parts of your life. Like, oh, I want new friends, but I never have new friends, or I never meet new people, or I never do this, I never do that. So you have to almost start to really watch what you're thinking and watch what you're saying, because you can cancel it out a little bit. It's not that they're not trying to give you parking spots, they are. But if your bigger vibration is, I'm not going to get that, then sometimes it takes a little bit to realign it. It's not that you don't deserve it. It's not that they're not giving it to you. It's not that you shouldn't have it. It's not that you don't have guides. They're just teaching you alignment for vibration. Does that make sense, my friends? Okay, so I need to go teach a class. I'm teaching a class in Sunny Johnson's community tonight. So I need to go teach a class on clearing. We are going to meet tomorrow here. Let me look up my time. Hold on. Oh, I don't have it up here. Hold on. All right. I will post what time tomorrow because I want to talk about some space clearing things for this community as well. So we're going to talk about clearing tomorrow. Okay. And I will post. I got to double check my schedule, and then I'll let you know. Okay. All right, guys. See you later.